Good morning, my viewers, parents, teachers, and students as well, and everybody. Today is another Saturday for Easy Numbers, and we are talking about, as I said, in the holidays, we shall be doing the universe and man. The numbers to do with the universe and man. And as usual, parents or my listeners or viewers are asking for this table again. So I'll not get tired, I'll repeat it. The number 1 vibrates to the letter A, J, I, Q, and Y. So those are for number 1. For number 2, they vibrate on the letter BKR. For number 3, the vibration is the letter C, G, L, S. For number 4, the vibrations are DMT. For number 5, the letters are EHNX. For number 6, the letters are U, V, and W. For number 7, the letters are O and Z. O and Z. And finally, for number 8, the letters are F and P. That is what is called the ancient Hebrew Kabbalah alphabet. It was studied by the ancient Hebrews, and they found that every numeral vibrates to a certain letter. And these are 26 letters of our alphabet, and therefore you can change any word into numbers. So today I want to answer a popular question that my viewers are asking. How do we name our children? How do we name our businesses so that they can vibrate in harmony with the rhythms of the universe, so that there is no confrontation with the universal rhythms? And here I show you today how you can calculate a name for your child, a name for your business, a name for your matatu, a name for your bus transport, a name for anything. Because once you put a name, you've started a rhythm that will vibrate in the universe. For everything is vibratory, and all names are words. And that's the only thing that exists. In the beginning there was the Word. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. So, words are very, very important, right from the beginning and up to the end, if there will be any end. Words will be controlling this universe. So, when you want to have a name, you look at the vibrations. Let me pick on one name here with different vibrations and different influences. So allow me to remove this. If you haven't copied, you can always ask again. We will never get tired repeating those for you. But I want to take a name that you know. The name the name Maria. I love this name because it's my mother's name. If you have a name like Maria, it will vibrate. M will be 4, A will be 1, R will be 2, I will be 1, and A will be 1. So the total vibration of this name will be 4 plus 1, which is 5, plus 2, which is 7, plus 1, which is 8, plus 1, which is 9. So when you spell your name Maria in that order, then you are vibrating on a numeral 9. You will know its influences later on. The same name can be Mary. When you have the name Mary, then it is 4, 1, 2, 1. And you'll find that this name here, it is 5, 7, 9. This is 5, 7, and 8. So the name Mary, although the same name, the vibration is completely different from the vibration of Maria. And so you can see that some people would want to call the same name Miriam. The same name Miriam would have this vibration 4, 1, 2, 1, 1, 4. And when you add this, it's 5, 7, 9, 5, 7, 8, 9, 13. And when there are two letters, two numerals, it is called a compound number. It's compound 13, and reduce it to single number by adding the digits 1 plus 3. So it is single number 4. So it is your choice to choose which name is going to be good for you, depending on the way you understand the vibrations of these numerals. Now, each numeral vibrates to a different octave and has different influences. The influences, some of them could be positive, some of them could be negative. And so, a lot of people have suffered from the negative influences of their names. And then these are the people who are saying, I have been bewitched. Nobody is going to bewitch you unless you believe that you are bewitched. Because as a man thinketh, so he is. If you think you are bewitched, then those vibrations, the negative vibrations, which are flowing all over the universe, will come to you. And therefore will have very bad negative influences to confirm your affirmations. So that's the way you calculate a name. And it can be any name. Call it Joseph, call it Peter, call it Henry, call it anybody. You just substitute the letters of the alphabet that I've given to you. Now let me single out one name and let us see its influence. Let us single out the name that is very, very popular in the universe. There isn't anybody in the world who hasn't heard of this name. Jesus. There isn't anybody in the world who hasn't heard of the name Jesus. And if it's not very clear, my director will make it clear for you. So Jesus is a name that is so well known from the heavens down to the earth. So if we are going to calculate the vibrations of the name Jesus, then J is going to be, I think, J is going to be 1, and then this one is going to be 5, and then this is going to be 3, and this is going to be 6, and this is going to be 3. So the name Jesus being 15363 will be calculated to end up at 6, 9, 15, 18. So this name is compound 18. So compound 18, let us see what the ancients described this compound to be. I am going to read the meaning of 18 from the book Universe and Man. It has the description of numbers and their meanings. So pay a little attention and see what that name, the ancients described it in this manner. Remember, they wrote this long before Jesus was born. 18. The description is spiritual material conflict. Of all compound numbers, 18 has the most difficult symbolism to translate. The ancients describe the compound number 18 with the following image. Just listen to the image the ancients put to 18. It's a red moon from which drops of blood are falling. Can you relate it to Jesus on the cross with lots of drops of blood falling? And yet the ancients wrote this long before Jesus was born. Now, so it's a red moon from which drops of blood are falling. It's a wolf and a hungry dog are seen below, catching the falling drops of blood in their opened mouths. While still lower, a crab is seen hastening to join them. So 18 symbolizes materialism striving to destroy the spiritual side of nature. And you can see Jesus came as a spiritual person, a prophet of God. And see how the materialism wanted to destroy him. Recall in the Bible the tribulations that Jesus underwent under Pontius Pilate and Herod. If you can look at that and see this description, it often associates the person or entity represented by it with bitter quarrels within the family circles, with wars, social upheaval, and revolution. Can you see Jesus came to revolutionize the way we used to think? And can you see the wars that were waged on him? Now, in some cases, it indicates making money or achieving position through divisive tactics, through war or other conflict. So an 18 person is a person who is going to be crafty, is going to be deceived in the material world, not in the spiritual world. In the material world, is going to make wealth through conmanship and so on. It warns of treachery and deception from both friends and enemies. If you are an 18 person, then both friends and enemies will be treacherous to you. Now, also, it warns of danger from the elements such as fire, flood, earthquake, tempest, and explosion, electrical shock, or lightning. Parent, would you like to name your child vibrating to the number 18 and you expose him to all this? When there are earthquakes, he's in trouble. When there are electricals, like we are all over surrounded by electrical equipments, he is in danger. Be very careful the names you choose for your children and also for your businesses. Now, if the compound number of the name is 18, the vibration should be negated immediately by changing the spelling of the name to equal a more fortunate compound number. When I was writing here the names Mary, Miriam, Maria, you saw that it was the same name with different vibrations, and you can choose that which is not an 18 even if it's the same name. So Joseph as one name can be Yusuf as another name, or Yosefu. They will have different vibrations. You can still retain your name, only you need to know what vibrations that name is going to be by giving it different spellings. Now, let's proceed with this 18. If the birth number is an 18, which you cannot change, people born on 18s are just 18. You can't change that, because we take our vibrations. The first vibration we take is the birth date. If you are born on 6th, you are a 6. If you are born on 4th, you are a 4. If you are born on 18th, you are an 18, and so on. But you can change by other factors. You cannot change by the birth date, but other factors. Listen to this. So care must be taken to meet the challenges and the dangers of this compound number. The only way to dilute or diminish its effects on the life is by spiritual means, by unfailingly and repeatedly meeting deception and hatred from others with generosity, love, and forgiveness. While others are doing negative things to you, you do positive things to them. That's the way you neutralize the 18 influence. So they say, by turning the other cheek, this is in the Bible, when somebody slaps you on one cheek, turn another cheek to him. That's no retaliation. You have to be humble. And you must be returning good for evil, kindness for cruelty, honesty and for dishonesty, honor for dishonor. In this way, the vibration 18 may be used for great success in illumination and enlightenment. Those born on the 18th day of any month have chosen themselves on the level of the higher self between incarnations, and this channel of birth, as did Jesus, as the greatest of all testings of the soul for worthiness. Another way to dilute the negative aspect of 18 is to change the number of the name, whatever number it may be, to any favorable compound number. While you can't change your birth date, you can change the vibrations of the name to neutralize the vibrations of an 18. Now, let's proceed. So whatever number it may be, to any favorable compound number which adds or reduces to the single 6, 6 will reduce the influence of 18. Also by changing the spelling of the name. In addition to the attitude just counseled, this will also help to turn the tragedy of 18 into triumph. So by changing the vibrations of your name from 18 to 6, because names you can spell them in any way, then you neutralize the 18 influence, despite the fact that you are still an 18 born on the 18th. Now you can also get another favorable number like 3. And if you know 3 and 6 are the twin brothers of 9. When I was teaching classroom mathematics, you remember me talking about 3, 6, and 9 having the same behavior, especially when we were squaring them. Same behavior. So if you recall that, you will know that 3, 6, and 9 are relatives. And 9 is an 18 because compound 18, when it's added 1 plus 8, it reduces to 9. So use other numbers that will neutralize the influence of 18. You saw what happened to Jesus. He never offended anybody, but he is the person who suffered most, both from friends and enemies. You see, he is asked, they asked who they should crucify, and each one is shouting, Jesus, not Barabbas or anybody else. And yet he has offended nobody. So don't be a sacrifice just because of ignorance of not knowing which names you should have. And I've shown you now how to calculate the names. That alphabet, simply substitute each letter with its numeral. Add them up. When there are 2 digits, it's called a compound number. When it is 1 digit, then it's called a single number. So some numbers remain single, some numbers are both compound and single. A number like 19 is a compound number, and again it reduces to another compound, which is 10. 1 plus 9 is 10. So 19 is 2 compounds in one, and then 1 single number, which is 1. 10 is 1 plus 0 reduces to 1. So this is very, very important knowledge. You have seen in this country some transport companies that are trying so much hard, and yet every other month they are involved in accidents. And then somebody wonders why. Why the same bus all the time? Why the same matatu all the time? And this is very, very simple. If your matatu is going to vibrate to a number like this 18, a number of drops of blood dropping down and wolves are gulping it. How do you expect to run this business? Indeed, I accept you are religious and you don't believe in such things. Okay. But let me tell you, when you are in Rome, you do what the Romans do. Our Rome is the universe, and we are in the universe. We must do what the universe does. These rhythms are not created by any religion. No pastor or bishop has created these rhythms. No magician has created these rhythms. We are all born to find them existing. The yearly life cycle. You just come into this universe to be born on a certain date, in a certain month, of a certain year. The year exists, you didn't create it, nor did your father create it, your mother. These are universal rhythms or circles. The daily cycle, nobody created that. We are all born when the sun is rising from the east and setting in the west. And it will do the same to the end of the world, if at all the world will end. And none of us has created that. But we must live in cooperation with what we find. When it is daylight, we do what we can do in the day. When it is night, we do what we can do in the night. If you do the opposite, then you are confronting the rhythms of nature. And then, on the law of cause and effect, you will be faced with the consequences. Because whatever you do has its results. It's like throwing a tennis ball on the wall ahead of you. While you think you are throwing the tennis ball away from you, it will come back to you at lightning speed. And if you are not careful, it will hit you again. On the law of cause and effect. For every effect, there is a cause. So, it's just cooperation, not confrontation with the rhythms of the universe, that we get to succeed in the world. I want to give you an assignment today. If you are a good investigator, look at the swearing in of presidents in the United States. You will discover that they swear twice. There is a swearing that is done at the time when they think this is the best time to swear in. And after they have sworn in at that best time, then they come to formalize it in public on another day they call the swearing in. This is not public knowledge. But investigate very slowly, and if you're a good researcher, you'll find that that happens. Because they understand what I read for you here in Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1 to 8. That there is a time for everything. You just don't wake up one morning to do what you want to do. Is it the time for it? You must be sure that this is the time. Then you go ahead and do what is good for the time. Read your scriptures very well. Ecclesiastic 3, 1 to 8. The verses that are saying there is a time to do everything. There is even time to love and time to hate. There is even time to kill and time to spare life. It's not my words. Go and read. I'm giving you the scriptures. And so the universe has times and seasons when everything can be done. And these are the seasons I'm trying to give to you. When you are having an 18, there is time for the action of 18. And don't mistake me, 18 is not the only number that you must fear, nor should you fear it. There are also positive influences of 18, but the negatives outweigh the positives, and you can also neutralize the negatives, because God never just locked the door and left no room for opening. He closes and opens, closes and opens. So, when you're asking, where do we get this knowledge? There are so many places you can get this knowledge. But immediately, to start you off, that small book, The Universe and Man. This small book, The Universe and Man, will draw the curtains from your eyes. You will start seeing things clearly. And then you can pursue further. We can give you then references for deeper knowledge of the esoteric. That then will help you to understand that not everybody that calls me Lord, Lord shall enter the kingdom of heaven. Why should you not enter? And yet you are calling him Lord, Lord. Why should you perish? You have been calling Lord, Lord, Lord all the time. The scriptures have an answer. My people perish for lack of knowledge. You might find that, I think, in Hosea or somewhere. I think the churchmen would know where to find that. Because you have not gone for knowledge, you will perish with your Lord, 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 Lord every day. And there's no prayer that will succeed in your shouting and everything. What does Jesus say about prayer? When you pray, do not do like the hypocrites do, shouting in the street corners so that they may be seen. Instead, when you pray, go into your inner room, close your door and pray, and the God who sees in secrecy will answer you. What is in that inner room? Esoteric knowledge. And that's why, if you don't know that knowledge, however much you call Lord, 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 you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. You will keep violating the laws of the universe so much, and you will keep being so much hurt. Just the law of love. Love, some people interpret that you should love your family, you should love your wife. where is the love for you when you are killing a small insect that is passing, it has not done anything to you, and you, with your finger, you are pressing it to pulp. You have killed it. Why are you killing it? Where is the love in you? Live and let live. Do not destroy these things here. And the scriptures of Islam are clear for those who are Muslims. لا يقتلوا النفس التي حرم الله إلا بالحق. Don't kill anything that God has said no, except for justice. If this thing has not done any wrong to you, leave it alone. That's the law of love. And you are saying, Lord, 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 and here you are cutting down every crop that you see of your neighbor. You are cutting it down because you fear he's going to have a bumper harvest. Where is love? And at home with your wife, oh, my sweetheart, my darling, and so on. And then you say you have love. That's ridiculous nonsense. So we must understand what is required for us in the universe for us to be able to see the kingdom of heaven. One other law is the law of humility. Some people are not humble at all. They are so cruel. When you are entering buses, they are pushing the small ones to fall. Their pregnant women are pushed out, and then, because they are strong, they enter the buses. Where is humility? And then he's pushing these people because he's late to go to church. He probably is coming from Buruburu, and he is probably going to Embakasi, and he seems to be late. So the weak ones have to be pushed off. And yet Jesus teaches humility. Humility is a big law in nature. He goes on to say, blessed are the humble, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. So all these things I'm talking about, somebody might think I'm a preacher. I'm not a preacher. I'm only one person who understands the laws of nature. And humility is one of them. Being arrogant will take you nowhere. That is why you will attend churches 100 times in 1 week, and still you won't see heaven. Blessed are the humble, for the kingdom of heaven is theirs. We must understand the teachings of the scriptures. And Jesus was a great mystic. Jesus taught mysticism. We only missed that point. And that's why we are not following. Now, there are so many definitions of numbers in that small book. Even numbers in the Bible and their meanings are here. And so, if you are a serious person, a person who wants to follow the teachings of your religion, then about numbers, that's the small book. The description of numbers and that small book, the universe and man, but that's not all. There are so many references on numbers, you can get them elsewhere. What I'm only doing here is to create an awareness that numbers are not only for the classroom. that 1 plus 3 is 4. 1 plus 2 is 3. But what is the meaning of this 3? What is the meaning of this 3? On the law of the triangle. 1, 2, 3. This is described as perfect manifestation. Nothing is perfect until it is on the law of the triangle. So we teach children about the number 3, and they have no idea at all what it means. When you see things happening, it happens the same here, number 1. It's going to happen the same here, number 2. Expect the third point of the triangle. And this is a great number. In family procreation, it takes 2 to get the third one. Perfect manifestation. That's why our children must have the meanings of numbers. As they work with the numbers in the classroom, they must understand that what is this number meaning? If I'm using it, how will it help me somewhere? Yeah? So without the triangle, on the law of the 3, there would be no creation. There would be no human generation. And electricity, those who have studied electricity, it tells it all. That when the negative meets the positive, then there is manifestation which is called light. It is light in the bulbs, it is sound in radios, it is pictures in TVs, it is cold in fridges, but it's just because positive meeting negative, and the third point of the triangle is manifested. So when we teach our children mathematics, like I do, we need also to let the children know what the numbers they are using means. What is the meaning of 0 in mathematics? Zero is beginning without an end. When you take a 0 figure, you cannot show that this is where it ends and this is where it begins. You cannot show. And that is the universe. And that is also God. He has no end. You cannot point that this is the end of God. There isn't a single place you can point that God is not here. He is all-encompassing. So you imagine that that's God, then the world is here, America is here, Europe is here, Africa is here, Australia is here, and everything in those, trees, stones, waters, and everything, they are there. That's why we describe our God in metaphysics as a superconscious energy, encompassing all there is and capable of further becoming. And that is 0, beginning without end. So, while there is no university in this country teaching about metaphysics, but in advanced countries there are now universities. In Africa, I think there is one. In Cairo, there is one. In Lagos, there is one. I think in Johannesburg. Probably those three. But in advanced countries, you find them all over. They are teaching mysticism, metaphysics, and so on. So on a minor scale, parents, friends, students, get that small book, The Universe and Man. It will start you off. It will be an eye-opener. It will draw the curtains off your eyes. And you will start knowing that there is a lot outside there. So that when you buy your car and you decide to put on a name, you must know which name you are putting. So that when you want to buy livestock for raising, there is time for everything. You must know which time am I going to buy my animals so that they don't die on the farm anyhowly. We are not saying they can't die. What we are saying is anyhowly. So that when you are a young man entering into marriage, you must know what is my appropriate time to enter into marriage so that I can stay with my wife permanently like my father and mother did. And especially today, our children of today are very unlikely to marry. I see them killing their girlfriends every other day. This is because they lack this knowledge. So, for you to get this Universe and Man, you just call me on telephone number 0721 901 429. 0721 901 429. This will help you to give you a direction in life, and then for further knowledge it will give you references, or you will call me for anything that you are stuck, and we shall help each other. Until next weekend, it is bye-bye from Dr. Kunda.